construction season would end with no serious injuries. Keep everyone vigilant as they drive fast. Father, we humbly ask for your blessing and we humbly ask for your wisdom. In your son's name I pray. Amen.
Let's see.
We call the meeting to order, begin with the pledge of allegiance of the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On the agenda, I have nothing to add or subtract, so I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as printed. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I know this isn't on the agenda, but we did talk a little bit about it the last couple meetings on the Crystal Park Campground with regard to moving forward on that. Without objection, I'd like to just more or less give some information on that and then approve the rest of the agenda, or do you want to go ahead and approve the rest of the agenda and, or have me just go through this? Go through this, all right? Okay. As some of you know that there has been discussion with regard to moving forward with regard to maybe making some changes to the campground. What's been some of the ideas is still allow a free will offering for the first 3 days. There would be no charge. Additional days, there has been discussion anywhere from $27 to $30 per night. This will be on the electrical sites, you know, and none of the others. And then also any extended after the, still accepting a free will donation, and maybe have a check-in and check-out time. And then also it'd still be a first come, first serve basis. We'd have a self-registering site down there, just like many of the state parks with regard to the fishing, the docks, as far as having access. Maximum stay, what we're looking at right now, campers will not be allowed to occupy a campground for longer than 14 days in a 30-day period, unless written consent is granted. One thing I don't like about rules, because if you have steadfast rules, somewhere along the line something can happen where unforeseen, somebody needs to be a little bit longer. So you still have a little, you know, some leeway to prove an extended stay with regard to that. Also, with regard to tents, maybe move them every couple of days to safeguard the grass and things of that sort. And then also make a notice of when I know the water for the station is down there already shut off because of the freezing temperatures, and then also with regard to that, and maybe having understanding with regard to pets down there. So I'm hoping to, Ron was gone this last week, but I'd like to get a little bit of insight with regard to him if he has any additional information. So with regard to that, that's just more or less for notice with regard to, you know, some of the ideas moving forward. And I'd entertain any other ideas for those people who camp that we could, you know, consider anything else too as well. Okay. Okay.
Okay, I think we got a motion and a second on the floor for the approval of the agenda. Is there any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. The minutes are found on pages 1 through 4. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as printed. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Public input. Anybody got anything to talk about that's not on the agenda?
In 1991 to 2003, I served on the city council. I also served on the Economic Development Board on behalf of the city. And it was my understanding and belief that economic development did not compete with private enterprise. They don't loan money against the banks. And last year you give them $80,000 or whatever. They spent $70,000 for a piece of land to get into residential development. I'm wondering why this is. Is that what you guys are giving them money for? I think you need to look at this deal. As long as they've had handouts from the city, they ought to be able to stand on their own. And you should take this money you're giving to them and put towards our surcharges and help everybody out that way. So please consider tonight, when you're thinking of your next handout to on hand, that you maybe do a little looking into it, because I can't believe there's very many cities that do what Miller does for economic developments. I don't know why they're in residential development. That's real estate. They talk about affordable housing. When you buy that out there, you're gonna have over $1 million in that before it's developed. City gonna pick that up? They're gonna expect a lot of help from the city, just like your ordinance 674 says, that you'll do the installation. It's gonna be expensive, and you're not gonna have lots that can be sold for affordable housing, unless you give them away. So please take that into consideration tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I just would like, I visited with Shayla a little bit about, Christy Nome was talking about taking the sales tax away. So if Shayla could maybe explain that a little bit, because my concern is then what is that gonna do to monies that we get here in the city? So, but I did visit a little bit about with Shayla, but I thought it would be appropriate if she could explain that a little bit to us.
Dustin knows about as much as I do, but we just asked, we had an opportunity to visit with Jamie Smith. Christy Nome was supposed to be there as far as a question and answer at our convention, and I did ask Jamie Smith, what are we gonna do? How does the state plan to cover our sales tax if we take sales tax off of groceries? Because that's a huge chunk of our general fund. That's a huge chunk of our general fund. And he said that the state cannot take money away from the cities like that, so we would, as a city, would have an opportunity to continue taxing groceries within Miller. There wouldn't be the state tax on it, there would only be city tax if we chose to go that route. But that's as much as they had kind of determined at this point that he was able to share. Not a whole lot. But that's a big chunk out of our budget if they don't tax groceries. Other states that don't have tax on food and clothing have income tax, and I haven't heard that they're planning on income tax to offset that loss of sales tax, but we can't function without that sales tax.
So Shayla, what would be the amount of tax that would be charged on groceries? Because part of the 4 goes to you, right? Or do you just-
The 6% or 6.5%, the 4.5% is the state's, ours is 2%.
So 2.5 would still be
2% would be ours.
2%.
2% would be ours on prepared food, like the chicken that's already, you can take out and eat, that would also have the bed, booze, and board tax still on that as well. So that'd be another 1% on that, so. Prepared foods would be 3%, groceries would be 2%. From what we were able to determine in Watertown.
But then it has to pass the legislature first, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is not, it is definitely not finalized, so.
For public knowledge, this has been, in fact, this last year, if I remember correctly, this was proposed. And at that time, again, if I remember correctly, there was some opposition in the executive branch that it would not pass. And all of a sudden, you know, there's been a kind of a change of course with regard to that too as well, so. On the flip side of this, I'm not, maybe this is the government teacher in me. When you take that amount of money off of a product, which is, I'm not saying it's wrong, you know, in doing so, what are you gonna do to make up the shortfall of the revenue that is raised by the state, you know, with that regard? I think that's always a concern. If you're gonna take something away, how are you going to replace it? That's not our job here, but I think that's just something to, you know, to think about, you know, with regard. Anyway.
Is there anything else? On public input? If not, we'll go on to unfinished business. Number 1 is hire a police chief.
Okay, the last meeting we had, we went into an executive session and interviewed chief of police officers. And we made the decision to offer the chief position to Ted Huss, and he has accepted. So we need to officially hire him then.
Is he here tonight or not?
No,
No, he's working tonight.
no.
He's working tonight.
Yeah, and he's also gonna give 30 days notice to his previous employer, so.
Yep. But he said on his days off, he would be glad to come and, you know, get to know people and take a look around at what's all available and what his duties, what he's expected of, and he's very excited to come to the community.
Is there any more on that then?
We'll need a motion to hire Ted Huss as the police chief.
I'll make that motion to hire Ted Huss as police chief.
I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to hire, is his name Ken?
Ted.
Ted.
Ted
Ted
Huss.
Huss is the police chief. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. 7. We'll go to number 1 in new business,
These are the ones that,
donation request.
here's 3 of them. There's a. And I think there's somebody here, except for Wheels and Meals, there's not anybody here for that, but there's somebody present for each of the others.
Okay, the first one is $2,000 for the fireworks,
Jamie, if you wanna,
so.
come up with, is that microphone?
Hi, everybody. I'm just here on behalf of the Miller CNC and the Miller Fire Department to request $2,000 for the fireworks display during the 4th of July celebration. This is a continued fund request that we've requested for before. Everyone enjoys the fireworks and they do cost a lot of money. So we would just like to have your guys' continued support of that event. Do you guys have any questions about that?
Do you know what the total cost was last year, Jamie?
Not an exact dollar amount, but, we keep, like, Dave comes up with a budget with the monies that are given.
Okay.
It was over $6,000, I can tell you that,
Okay,
between $6,000 and $7,000. And then, you know, the whole fire department, they all donate their time. Dave gets certified every year at the cost of his own, you know, at his own expense. It's just something that the community likes.
sure.
So, that's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any questions? If not, we'll move on to the next one, which is the Wheels and Meals Corporation. And I'll read this. The Board of Directors participants of the Wheels and Meals Corporation and myself take this opportunity to express our appreciation to the City of Miller for your continual support to the Wheels and Meals program in the Miller area. Although state funds assist with our project, the success of our program is possible through the support of our community. Local match funds are essential in ensuring the continuation of these programs. We have done our best to keep our costs to a minimum while addressing the inflation. I request $2,250 again this year to allow us to continue meeting the needs of our users. Thank you for your consideration. Christie Leckie. Is anybody here from,
No. She wasn't able to be here, so.
that's all.
Hand in hand.
Hand in hand, county community care center.
Good evening, my name is Bailey Moore, and I am the new board president for the Hand in Hand Community Daycare. I'm here tonight with our center director, Clover Erdman. In the past, you guys have so graciously given us assistance. We appreciate that more than you would ever know. We're here tonight on behalf of the daycare to request that you kindly consider us for that help again. We have about 74 kids in our facility now. I just counted last night, I believe we have 43 different families that use our facility. We believe that our facility is vital to our community. So we would greatly appreciate your consideration for this year. Is there anything you want to add, Clover? Unless you have a question for me?
Does anybody got any questions or?
So Bailey, what's the donation? What has been in the past as far as,
I believe it was $800, $850 last year.
Not utility credit.
Yes, the utility credit. Yep.
oh, utility, okay.
And you're requesting $1,000.
$850 and you're requesting $1,000.
Yes. Yes, due to the increases that our center has sustained this past year, the cost of everything has gone up. We have, you know, raised our rates, so our families have felt that effect as well. Do you have any other questions for us?
Okay, do we have any more?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Now we go to on-hand development.
Good evening,
slideshow, it'll just be like a nod when we can.
Okay,
How's that sound? Keisha Baranek, I'm the Executive Director for On-Hand Development. I also brought our President, Mr. Lane Warkentine, over here. He will be answering all of the tough questions at the end. So thank you, Lane, for coming, and thank you all for your time and commitment to our community. On-Hand Development truly appreciates working with you and all of the improvements that you've made to our city. I'm here tonight to request $132,000 for funding year 2023. So a little bit about us. We have a new and improved mission as of January 2022, and it's up there. The mission of On-Hand Development Corporation is to assist and to maintain and assist in the expansion of existing businesses and support the growth of new businesses, while striving to improve the economy and advancing a positive quality of life in Han County. We take our mission very serious. It's something we talk about at almost every single board meeting. We updated it this last year to reflect some of the things that we're doing. We are governed by a volunteer board of directors. There's 11 that give up their time several times a month to meet and gather and come up with plans. We have one part-time handyman that helps with the community center. We have a part-time office assistant that runs the community center, and then myself for staff. Next slide, thank you. So just a little bit about our board of directors. Like I said, their job is to manage and oversee the entire operation of On-Hand Development. And according to our bylaws, we're separated by four different categories, excuse me. We have our finance, so both banks are represented. We have appointed directors, those are chosen by the current board. We have at-large, which are elected at the annual meeting, and then we have our governmental, which is our city, county, and school, and those are elected within those boards. I'm not gonna name you all of our board members, they're up on the sheet there, as well as a current picture from our last board meeting. But that's our board of directors, and just so everybody knows, we have had a delegation from the city, the county, and the school since On-Hand first started, so that they have been in the loop with projects since the beginning of our board. These board members come with a wealth of business and community and leadership capabilities. We like a well-rounded board, so as you can see, everybody looks a little bit different, and everybody comes from a different background, and that's very, very helpful. We also have committees within these boards, and then we have volunteers outside of these boards as well. They meet as needed in different areas like financing, beautification, community center, et cetera, et cetera. The committees make recommendations to the entire board, much like your process is here, and then it goes to the final board for review. Slide here. So On-Hand's success has created projects that continue to generate income, increase property tax, create jobs, generate sales, and ensure the future of our community. So how have we done that? Next slide. Here are a few of our past, current projects that we've done. Of course, Main Street, we've done the signs and awning program. We've painted several houses through the Paint South Dakota grant. I found 6 on file. We worked with the daycare on needs. We helped with their new signage as well as location back in the day. Mid-Dakota coming to Miller was a big part of On-Hand Development. Data Track, the commercial part, Kessler's grocery store, most recently selling Summers Bar. Next slide, Shayla, a few more. We've bought and sold 2 governor's houses in the past 6 years, I think, as well as ran the community center, which also holds the Friendship Center. We've been doing a lot of lobbying lately, so we work with our state legislators, we work with senators, representatives, we visit with them on a regular basis. Every session we try to get there at least once, but I'm also in communication with a lot of our senators throughout the year. Telling our story is also something that we have really wrapped our arms around and been very aggressive about. We are working with the Miller Civic and Commerce on a weekly radio show, and we're also currently working with South Dakota Public Broadcasting on doing a series called Miller Dakota Life Series. We're also telling our stories at different events. I've been to Heartland Power, I've been to Millbank, I've been to Pier, Redfield, and then we work with the schools in recruitment and keeping kids in local communities getting jobs. Next slide. So how do we come up with our projects? Every November we have a strategic plan, and within that strategic plan, we identified 4 goals for 2022.
internal operations, workforce, business retention, succession, and attraction, promotion of Han County. So these strategic planning sessions are pretty vital for our planning, but also the direction that our board is gonna go. And that's why it's important to have our city rep there and our county as well as our school. Like I said, for this year, we identified internal operations, so working together with the city of Miller and Han County for goals and ideas for the future. Identifying leaders in our communities, workforce, that's a huge priority. Quality of life is in that one, as well as beautification and housing. And then we have business retention and succession and attraction, promotion of Han County. So now that we have our goals set, we work on our pipeline of projects, which is right here. And much like the city of Miller, our projects take a very long time to see completion. Here is a list of current projects in no particular order. But here's some of the things that we are working on. So hotel, housing development, natural gas, supporting businesses for sale, business expansion and retention visits, the Miller Community Center, bike trails expansion, our next industrial land purchase, the Shop Local campaign, Career Here event, promotion of Han County, and so on and so forth. I'm sure there's some that I've missed on that list, but that's a few of the projects. So impact, how do we decide the dollar amount that on-hand development is worth? It's an incredibly difficult number to put we don't have a widget or a gadget to put a number on that. So as of today, on-hand development has helped create and sustain over 600 jobs in Han County, and we've loaned out over $1 million to Han County businesses through our revolving loan fund. Our community center is also extremely busy. This 2022 season was the busiest we've had for unpaid events because of what happened for the school, but we also had a really nice amount of traffic for paid events as well. A lot of people even say, what would we do without that place? And that also includes our Friendship Center that gets used every single day, usually more than once a day. So housing, how do we put an impact on that? We bought and sold 2 governor's houses, but we've helped a lot of people with the process and how to get from A to B. We worked on the housing study in 2015 to see the needs in our community, and most recently bought the land to the east of the Miller School for potential housing development there. And we're also doing some other studies on housing and the needs in our community. And quality of life is something we work on every day. It's impossible to put a number on that. Some of our projects are youth involvement, welcoming parties, events at our center, and so on and so forth. Next slide, Shayla. So something we can put a number on is the impact of our revolving loan fund for 2021. We had 8 loans totaling over $620,000. Those 8 loans had over $3.5 million in sales tax, and they provided jobs for 88 employees in our county. And then, so our partners, so we really appreciate working with the city of Miller, being our #1 investment, but also Han County. We work with a number of other partners, and I'm sure I missed some up on that list. The Miller Civic and Commerce, the Miller Area Foundation, the Governor's Office of Economic Development, Heartland Power, Dakota Resources Grow, South Dakota Northeastern Council of Government, South Dakota Housing, and the list goes on and on and on. Some of these partners are for loans for other businesses. We connect the dots for businesses. Some of these partners are for volunteers. Some of these partners are to help them, or they might help us with projects. Some of them are grants, some of them are just information, but we work with a number of different partners. So, I think I'm in closing, right? Yep. So in closing, we greatly appreciate working with the city of Miller, as well as Han County, and we appreciate the contributions that you have all made to our area. We all benefit from what the city does day in and day out, just like we benefit from economic development. And we hope to work with the city of Miller and Han County to help the city of Miller thrive for future generations. Questions? That's why I brought Lane.
Any questions?
I'll just, how do we address Mike's concern, with regard to land development, with regard to purchasing it for that purpose? How do we, that he just stated earlier?
What do you want me to address?
I think I think you question whether or not the parameters of economic development, if that's what it's, for. For the sake of, the question that he raised at the beginning, how do we address that? Are we in direct competition with developers? That's what I'm asking. Is that I think that's what I'm kind of going at, Keisha.
So are you asking me if we are in direct competition with developers?
Yes.
Or the city of Miller?
Well, I'm trying to process what Mike asked, and just more or less for clarification, for informational purposes, for nothing else, is the fact that, how do I phrase that? Is this something we've done in the past with regard to going buying land for the purpose of development?
Has on hand?
Yes.
Well, we bought the land for the commercial park for purpose of development.
Okay, all right.
We had land for where Mid-Dakota.
We bought that land where Mid-Dakota is for purpose of development. We
Okay.
own the data track building for purpose of development. We've bought and sold governor's houses for purpose of
Yeah.
development.
Okay. What I'm trying to do is just ask the questions, just more or less, just, if somebody else has questions with
Right.
regarding some of these, to kind of,
The best solution would be for them to come and visit with us. And we would be able to squash some of those concerns right then and there.
Yeah.
I guess I have one thing to add. Housing has been a situation the community and citizens of this county have been asking for many years. The ideas came not from on hand, but from residents of this community. Over time, we felt it was time to move forward because the commercial developers weren't doing things. We were giving people options. Somebody doesn't wanna just necessarily build in one spot. There's land all over. We just chose one piece to do something to move forward, to get some houses built.
okay,
The city has gone through all this work of putting in all new infrastructure. Why not build something to add to that? Get the real estate taxes, get development going, get things going. This isn't something on hand, that's not our only business.
No,
It's something that gets handed to us. We never wanted to have a community center. We wanted a community center, but we didn't wanna run it. But we ended up having to run it. No one else has stepped forward to say, I wanna run a community center. This housing project came from people in this community. We are trying to do that part for them. One thing on hand that we can do is try to get some grants to help the cost of the infrastructure. Some of the private developers don't always have that option. If you're worried about competition, there's gonna be competition everywhere. That's just part of,
So why aren't they in the loaning business then? Why don't they loan money against the bank? They can't.
we
we
can
do
borrow
loan
money.
money. We do.
And the two governor's houses, the infrastructure is already there. They're plotted, they're in town, certain services there.
I-
Development, it's not there. Okay? You say the private enterprise is not doing anything because of ordinance 674, it says the city will do the work if I furnish the material. Right? The city can't do the work, they don't have the equipment, they don't have the time, they don't have the money. So are you looking at the city to bring $800,000 worth of sewer over there?
We haven't even got that far.
Okay, well, I think you better think about it before you start sticking a whole bunch of money into a piece of property. Cause you're gonna spend a lot of money, and you're not gonna have affordable lots when you get done, I can guarantee you that. You're not gonna get enough grants to cover it. So is this where our economic development money is going? Part of it is, already has.
I think it's important to remember what Lane just said too. We take our direction from the city, from the county, from the community.
Yeah.
So when we have these strategic planning sessions that I said, that's not a brainchild of myself or Lane or anybody else sitting around that table. Usually it comes from this group right here. In fact, I remember 2 years ago, sitting here, and they said, what are you guys doing about housing? What are you doing about a hotel? What are you doing, you know? So we take our direction from this group, and that's important to remember.
I don't want to be misconstrued with regard to asking questions, but because I think we are, you know, kind of the in-between with regard to, you know, some of the actions taken and maybe some of the questions that the people in the community may have. And we just are that means of communication, you know, back and forth, of providing information.
Absolutely, and I strongly encourage questions to come to us.
Yeah.
You can even come to a board meeting, and we can put them on the agenda.
Yeah, tonight it's about
Right.
business donations. If it wants to be added to the agenda, so be it. But, we didn't, the community asked us to get involved. And so we're trying to do something about it. If a private individual wants to do something, come see us. We're more than happy to work with them. But no one had ever stepped forward.
Okay.
So we have to give people options. That was one site that was
Okay.
picked by different people in this community where they would like to build a house.
Okay?
I'm gonna stop.
We have a 7:30 we have to
We
do.
got a
Kick me
hearing at 7:30.
Well, can we continue afterwards if there are more
Yeah,
questions?
We'll continue with this.
Yeah.
As soon as this is done, we'll go back to that.
At 7:30, we have a hearing scheduled for liquor license transfer. It's from Redneck Paradise to Millen Incorporated, which is Pump and Pack.
And Cooper is here.
Hello, Cooper.
Okay, we have all the paperwork in front of us.
And this is for off-sale liquor only. Correct?
That's been published.
Malt beverage.
So I would entertain a motion here to either reject or issue this transfer.
Make a motion that we accept it. I'll make a motion, we accept the transfer.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept this transfer. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Have a good evening.
Short and sweet.
What's that?
Short and sweet.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'll take that part.
Am I done?
Yep.
Do you-
I have a question for Keisha that I didn't get to ask. You're getting money from, you're getting money from the county, right? At
Yes.
35,000? Or
30,000.
30,000. Okay, I knew you asked for 35,000, you said you had 32. Okay, so 30,000.
Other questions?
Yeah, what did the city give last year down here?
81.
That was based on 10% of the last 2.5 years of sales tax. And that's kind of the way I budgeted for this year, so if
For
that's,
the 122?
for 20, yeah. 22, half of 22, 21, and 20, which amounted to about 89,000 is what that same 10% would be this year, if that's what you want to do.
Did you have any more information?
No, I was just wondering if there was more questions.
Any more questions, comments, whatever?
In 2014, when the housing study was done, you couldn't buy a house in Miller. Wasn't any available. If you look at the market now, there's 15 to 20 properties for sale, anywhere from 50,000 to 350,000. So there's houses for sale, there's affordable houses for sale.
Do you have any more questions for me?
I don't have anything.
Thank you for
Thank
what
you
you
for your
do.
time. Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Keisha. Thank you, Wayne.
Is that all of them?
That's all of them, yeah.
See ya.
Oh, you can have that, I'll take the other one.
Okay, we'll move on to number 2 in the new business. Is resolution number 2022-15, contingency fund transfer found on page 5. Resolution number 2022-15. Whereas insufficient appropriation was made in the 2022 adopted budget for the following department to discharge just obligations of said appropriation. And whereas South Dakota Codified Law -921-6.1 provides transfer to be made by resolution the board from a contingency appropriation established pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 921-6.1 to other appropriation. Therefore be it resolved that the following appropriation be transferred from the contingency budget to the department budgets. General fund, $2,000 for the fire hall. And general fund, $2,500 to the pool. Adopted this 17th day of October 2022. We'll need a motion to either reject this or accept it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
A motion is,
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2022-15. Is there any questions, comments?
yeah, that's just a general vote, it's not a roll call.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and vote on that.
Yeah.
Go ahead and vote on that.
Okay, we'll have to vote, if there's no more discussion, we'll vote on resolution number 2022-15. Is there any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Now, the next thing is, ordinance number 735, a budget supplement found on page 6. Okay, be it ordained by the city of Millville that the following sum of supplementary appropriated to meet the obligation of the municipality. General fund, $61,625 from a civil defense flood study. General fund, $61,625 from a FEMA grant. Gross receipts, $8,000 to the community center. And the source of funding is sales tax. Capital improvement, $16,213.39, and that's from the airport project. That is, $15,360 of that is federal grants, and $853.34 is state grants. That's just a budget supplemental deal. So I entertain a motion to either approve or reject this.
I move we approve ordinance number 735.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, the same. Motion carried.
I will correct a spelling on that airport on the next one. Nobody seemed to mention it, so I guess I'll do that myself.
Airport.
Yeah. Airport.
Okay, we'll go to number 4, which is SDSU training opportunity, which is found on pages 7 through 9. Well, the letter is posted up here on the screen, but I'm gonna read this. Greetings from the South Dakota State University Extension Community Vitality Team. We hope you are all enjoying the start of your autumn. It is hard to believe the beginning of 2023 approaches. The purpose of this letter is to share the service and educational opportunities the Community Vitality Team provides to South Dakota organizations and communities. As you will find in the pillars and brochure, the mission of our team is to inspire South Dakotans to create vibrant communities. We do this through utilizing a national network of resources backed by extension experiences, research, and data. These tools are used to build capacity and leaders after continuous learning opportunities and providing coaching to South Dakota and their communities. Through that mission, our program falls into 3 main categories. And the 3 are creating vibrant places, energizing leaders, strengthening business. Finally, the coming weeks, registration will begin for the November South Dakota Remote Works class. Through this course, we teach practical skills to South Dakotans working or desiring to work remotely. Remote work will continue to be a prominent issue and a tool in workforce development. And this course certifies potential employees. The deadline for registering for the November class is October 25th, and information can be found online at extension South Dakota State.edu/SDSU South Dakota Remote Works. We are a resource available to all South Dakotans and would be happy to engage and support your community. Don't hesitate to contact one of our team today. I think after reading this, I think this might be something that we might wanna be interested in. I think we might gain prayer, some help in marketing of our town, strategic plannings, and that type of thing. And I think that's very important right now is strategic planning and strong board leadership can be the difference between success and failure of core community organizations. And I think those are some things that we might get some good out of this program with. So, I don't.
Are they seeking council members to take part in these remote learning, or are they looking for certain groups within our community?
I think a little bit of both,
Both?
depending on, like, some of this that looks like on hand would be good for.
Yeah.
Some of it would be any board, school board, city board, church board, county board, any of those could benefit from that. Grant writing workshops, we have help with that, so.
Yes, I agree.
I guess if anybody's interested, we could look into it more thoroughly.
Where did I read too with regard to registration? If we were going to,
October 25th.
Yeah.
I know I read,
Yeah,
what, October 25th?
October
I know,
25th.
but I'm trying to figure out where I saw that too. That's right, that,
that was in the.
On the first
letter-
page.
In the letter.
gotcha, all right, thank you.
Yeah, it's not much
I
time.
know I read it.
So I don't think there's really anything we need to vote on, it's just for your information, if somebody's interested in one of these classes, they're available.
Are the other entities aware of this? I mean, have they received information like the school on hand economic development, the county?
I would think the county and the school probably did, I don't know that On Hand did. I'm not sure.
This is the first I've heard of it.
So,
He didn't even mention it.
yeah, so I can send it to her. And send her a copy.
Yeah.
Because the 25th isn't very far
No,
off.
it's
No.
not.
That's next week.
So,
Yeah. That's not much time.
She does a lot with SDSU though, so I would think that,
I know. Okay,
Did it just get presented?
yes.
Wow.
yeah. I just gave it,
Right?
yeah, I just
I'm
gave it
with
to
ya.
Mayor a couple days ago, so we just got it in the mail this
Sometimes
week.
it does just get put on your plate and you don't even have time to,
It just came in
Yeah.
the mail this week,
well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
There's not time to digest or,
yeah.
And there's a lot on here.
yeah.
There's a
I
lot of
can see
opportunities.
As you scroll it, it's
Yeah.
a lot to,
Is there gonna
but
be,
it's a good,
yeah, is there gonna
I
be
think-
more than one class offered?
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Yes, all
several
those classes.
classes.
But I mean, for the date, Cause it said to register for November class, it's October 25th.
So maybe they'll have some
I
more
wonder
later.
if they'll have
You know
more
what?
later.
Probably
could
have
be
to go
too.
online and see, so.
Probably have to wait and see. They probably look and see what kind of a response they get on this one.
Well,
And these
if you read
prices
the
are-
last part, there's grant supported price, so part of the monies, that it costs to do these classes is supported with grants.
And that's
And
through
that's only
December
good through December
23
31st
of 23.
of 23, right?
So I'm guessing these classes go all next year also.
You would think.
So I haven't had a chance to go online and look at them.
That's got good topics. Maybe we should take up grant writing. Let's see, our next one's a grant assistance.
Well, I don't think we have to do anything.
No, I think people, if
No.
they're interested, they can just look into it.
It's just up to us to research it if we wanna do any of them.
Yeah.
And they have to know in a week if we wanna get
Yeah,
In
we
the
have to-
November.
classes.
We have to let you know probably the day before that.
Sheila,
I
yeah.
think so, yeah.
Sheila, sorry.
If you read that price list,
Yeah.
thing, it does say on there, we can bring our program to you at grant-supported prices through December 31st, 2023.
Which would be
Oh,
nice.
2023.
Yeah, so.
That's on the very
That's a lot
last
of
page
time.
of that where,
That wouldn't be so
I
bad.
can see some of the stuff on here waiting for it to.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe go into it with the county and on hand, or a few different boards and have them come do board training.
yeah.
With-
We don't get
It
to
looks to me like it's got
send
some
in
really
by
good
this
programs,
date,
so
there'll be
it'd be
another
worth
start
checking it
up
out.
on that.
It goes through
December.
December of 2023. So we've got a whole year to do this.
Well, I think this is something we need to look over, because it looks like we got through November, or December 31st of 23. As I can see a couple, three things on here. I don't think it would hurt to spend $125 or whatever it is on it. So with that, I'll say, I'm gonna, so everybody knows, I think we need to put this on hold for right now. Is that the consensus of the board?
Yeah. So we can do a little research into
Research.
it.
So we can do a little research on
Yep, cause it'll go through 2023, it
Okay.
looks like.
Yeah.
it. We won't need a motion for that
No.
one. Okay, number 5 is Game Fish and Parks grant, and that's the one we didn't. I found on page 10.
This one was for our pool. We asked for 500,000. 28 applications for over 3 million. We did not get accepted for it. The biggest reason we did not get accepted is because there has been no fundraising to date. They called and wanted to know how much fundraising has been done. They said if you can get a good start on your fundraising, please apply next year because it's a very good program. We have a very good chance of getting whatever we apply for, as long as our fundraising committee is attempting to raise money for the pool. So, but I'm not quite sure with Brian being part of that, and he's not here, and now Sarah's on the road. I'm not quite sure who our fundraising committee is left with the pool, but if we could find them and get them started, that would be really good, because this is a good grant program.
Okay, we'll go to number 6, which is a building permit for Patrick McCarty. A fence $2,600. And it looks like it's all been signed off on. So, I would entertain a motion to approve this building permit.
Okay.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the building permit for Patrick McCarty. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Okay, that's everything. We're down to the executive session. So I'd entertain a motion to go into executive session for personnel pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, parent 1.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive
Is
session.
there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say
Can I
aye.
make one comment? I said, can I make one comment? From a business perspective, when you have as many loans and notes to pay, make more sense to pay your debt down than to keep giving that economic development $110,000 a year. How much have they hauled out of here? A bunch. And we have no what?
Would you repeat what you're, I
I said,
didn't,
how many hundreds of thousands of dollars have they taken out of the city? Granted, they do good, I don't doubt that, we need them, but why can't they stand on their own? If they're in a business, performing as a business, why do we have to babysit them? Maybe we need to vote on this election thing and see what the people think. There's people moving out of town because of the surcharges.
well, I don't know where they're gonna go, Mike. With,
Stephen Ford is going to Harriet.
What?
Jeff Swartz got out of town. There's more of them. So, you don't have them locked in here to keep paying, but
Sean Ford moved out of town too. Sean Ford moved out of town as well.
we've got the Cottonwood Lake.
I also have a comment in regards to this. In the audit that was done, On Hand Development had not provided their financials for the last 2 years.
now,
We need to
Right.
have you at the mic.
now let's be a little careful here, cause we're getting off the agenda.
I understand, and I apologize, sir, but, they haven't given us a financial, and anybody else that has a budget, you guys are down to the penny whether they're buying a ream of copy paper. But yet they're gonna raise their budget by $50,000. Little taken back by
Thank you.
that number. Good luck, guys, have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was kinda hoping the chief of police would be here to take his picture.
If he wasn't working, he would have been.
Maybe next time.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. We need to,
Oh, we haven't voted?
we haven't voted.
Oh,
You want this closed?
Yes, please.
please.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second on the floor to go into executive
Oh, we're not there
session.
yet.
Is there any, discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Give me just a second.
Yes.